This underwater city is teeming with life. Imagine snorkeling or diving among clouds of colorful damselfish, spotting a shy clownfish peeking from its anemone home, or watching a graceful sea turtle glide by. You might see moray eels hiding in crevices or majestic eagle rays soaring through the blue. These reefs are not only beautiful but are also a vital barrier, protecting the island's coastline from erosion and storms. But organizations across Mauritius are working on coral restoration projects, planting new corals to help the reefs recover from bleaching and damage. Ensuring these underwater wonders can be enjoyed by generations to come. But some of the most unique creatures here are the ones you might not even notice at first. Mauritius is home to a spectacular array of endemic insects and snails, each one a tiny, irreplaceable part of the island's natural heritage. Many of these species are found nowhere else on Earth and are adapted to very specific microhabitats. Scientists are still discovering new species, unlocking secrets that have been hidden for millennia. Protecting the forests and islets doesn't just save the birds and reptiles, it saves these little critters too, preserving a biodiversity that is still not fully understood. The story of Mauritian wildlife is a powerful narrative of loss, survival, and hope. The dodo is a stark lesson in how fragile island ecosystems are, but the echo parakeet, the pink pigeon, and the restored habitats of Ilo egrets are lessons in resilience. They show that with passion, science, and community effort, we can turn back the tide of extinction. When you visit Mauritius, look beyond the beaches, take a hike in the Black River Gorges, visit a conservation project, or snorkel responsibly on the reef. The real treasure of this island isn't just its natural beauty, but the incredible story of life's fight to survive, a story that is still being written every single day. The fate of these animals is in our hands. By supporting local conservation organizations, making responsible tourism choices, and simply spreading the word about these hidden wonders, we can all become part of the solution. The dodo may be gone forever, but its living relatives still have a chance, and their story is one that deserves to be told and celebrated. Thanks for joining me on this incredible journey through the wild heart of Mauritius. If you were inspired by these stories of survival, please hit that like button and subscribe for more adventures into the hidden corners of our planet. Let us know in the comments which Mauritian animal you'd love to see the most. See you next time. Have you ever stood in front of a sculpture and just felt something? A connection, a story, a powerful emotion that seems to radiate from the cold stone or metal. What if I told you there's a secret language in art and a specific size holds a special key? Today, we're re-embarking on a journey to uncover the hidden world of sculptures that are exactly 1 meter tall. It might sound oddly specific, but this height is no accident. It's a deliberate choice, a sweet spot that artists have used for centuries to create a unique and intimate connection with us, the viewers. So, why 1 meter? Think about it. It's roughly the height of a child, or the level of our own heart. When a sculpture stands at this height, it doesn't tower over us like a monumental statue, nor does it sit on a pedestal far removed from our reach. Instead, it meets us at a human level. It invites us to look it in the eye, to walk around it, to experience it as an equal. This isn't just about size. It's about psychology. It's about creating a personal dialogue between you and the art. Throughout this video, we explore how artists from different eras and cultures have harnessed the power of this specific dimension to tell their stories, and you'll learn to see these incredible works in a whole new light. Let's travel back in time, starting with the masters of antiquity. The ancient Greeks and Romans were obsessed with the human form. For them, sculpture was the ultimate expression of beauty, power, and idealism. While they are famous for their colossal statues of gods and emperors, they also crafted countless sculptures around the 1-meter mark. These weren't just smaller versions of larger works. They had their own distinct purpose, often found in private homes, gardens, or smaller temples. These sculptures served as personal devotional items or decorative pieces. A 1-meter-tall statue of Apollo or Venus wasn't meant to intimidate, but to inspire and be admired up close. The detail was exquisite because the artists knew you'd be standing right there. You could almost reach out and touch the perfectly chiseled muscles or the delicate folds of drapery. This proximity made the divine feel personal, accessible, and part of daily life. It was art you could live with, not just worship from afar. Now, let's jump forward to the Renaissance, a period of rebirth in art and science. Artists like Donatello and the young Michelangelo were revolutionizing sculpture, and the 1-meter scale played a crucial role. Think of Donatello's bronze David, while not exactly 1 meter. Many of his other works, especially his sculptures of saints and prophets, hovered around this size. These pieces were often designed for niches in cathedrals or guild halls. They needed to be large enough to be seen from below, but small enough to fit within the architectural framework. The 1-meter height was the perfect solution. It allowed for incredible emotional expression and realism. Standing before one of these sculptures, you're not just seeing a religious figure. You're seeing a person with doubts, strengths, and a story etched on their face. The scale invites you to contemplate their humanity, to connect with the narrative on a deeply personal level, bridging the gap between the divine and the everyday. The modern era blew the doors wide open for what sculpture could be. Artists began to break from traditional forms and materials, and the 1-meter sculpture became a playground for experimentation. Consider the work of Constantine Brancucci. His famous piece, Bird in Space, exists in several versions, some of which are around the 1-meter mark. At this scale, the sleek, abstract form doesn't dominate the room. Instead, it activates the space around it. You're encouraged to walk around it, to see how the light catches its polished surface, to feel the sense of upward motion and freedom it conveys. It's not a representation of a bird, but the essence of flight itself. Or think of Alberto Giacometti's wiry, elongated figures. Standing at roughly 1 meter, these sculptures feel fragile and hauntingly human. Their height places them directly in our personal space, confronting us with themes of existentialism, loneliness, and the resilience of the human spirit. They're not grand heroes. They are reflections of ourselves, navigating the complexities of modern life. So, how do artists actually make these incredible objects? The process is a delicate dance between vision and technique. For a stone sculptor, it begins with a block of marble or granite. They have to see the final form locked inside the raw material. Using chisels and hammers, they chip away, slowly revealing the figure within. Every tap is a risk. One wrong move could shatter months of work. The 1 meter scale is particularly challenging because it demands precision. It's too large for fine, delicate carving with small tools, yet too small to allow for the broad, sweeping gestures used on monumental works. It requires a perfect balance of strength and finesse. For a bronze sculptor, the process is entirely different. It often starts with a clay model, where the artist shapes their vision with their bare hands. This is where the emotion and dynamism of the piece are born. From this clay original, a mold is made, a complex process involving plaster, wax, and silica. Finally, molten bronze, heated to over 1,000 degrees Celsius, is poured into the mold. Once it cools, the mold is broken away to reveal the sculpture. But the work isn't done. The surface must be chased, polished, and treated with chemicals to create the final patina, the color and texture that gives the bronze its life. For a 1 meter sculpture, every surface detail matters because the viewer will be close enough to see it all. Now that we understand the history and the craft, let's talk about you, the viewer. How can you get the most out of your experience with a 1 meter sculpture? First, resist the urge to just glance and walk away. Give it time. Start by observing it from a distance to understand its overall form and how it sits in the space. Then move closer. Walk around it a full 360 degrees. A sculpture is a three-dimensional object, and the artist has designed it to be seen from all angles. Notice how its shape changes as you move. Look for the story in its posture, its gesture. Next, pay attention to the details. Look at the texture of the surface. Is it smooth and polished, or rough and expressive? How does the light play across the form, creating shadows and highlights? If it's a figurative work, look into its eyes. What emotion is the artist trying to convey? Don't be afraid to get down to its level. Crouching down to meet a 1 meter sculpture at its own height can completely change your perspective and deepen your connection to it. You're no longer just an observer. You're part of a silent conversation. Try it next time you're in a museum or gallery. You'll be amazed at what you discover when you engage with art on its own terms. So, The next time you encounter a sculpture that's about as tall as your hip, stop and take a moment. Remember that its size is not a coincidence. It's a deliberate artistic choice designed to create a bridge between the world of art and your own personal experience. It's an invitation to a one-on-one conversation, from the personal gods of ancient Rome to the abstract ideas of the modernists. The 1-meter sculpture has a unique power to connect with us on a human, emotional, and intimate level. It's art that doesn't shout from a pedestal but speaks to you in a whisper. Art isn't just something to be looked at, it's something to be experienced. And sometimes the most profound experiences come in human-sized packages. Thank you so much for joining me on this artistic journey today. I hope you've gained a new appreciation for the secret power of the 1-meter sculpture. If you enjoyed this video, please hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into the world of art, and I'd love to hear from